Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a football welcome sign for your favorite team. So to get started, make sure that you grab this free SVG file. You are going to find that on my blog at svgnation.com, but you're also going to find a link to it in the video description, and it's going to take you directly there. You're also going to find links to the supplies that I'm using in case you want to check any of those out. So go ahead and grab that file and upload that to Cricut Design Space. And once you're in Design Space, this is how it should look. I'm just going to go ahead and zoom out. So there's no changes that need made to this unless you want to change some of the colors or anything else, but I do want to show you, if you're using a different size board, how to resize this. So the board I'm using is 16 inches by 16 inches, but say you have a different size board like a 12 by 12, you're going to want to go to your shapes, go ahead and select that circle, and we're going to resize that to the size of your board. So it's 12 by 12. I'm just going to change this to a different color so we can see what's going on, and I'm sending that to the back. And then you can just click right here, everything should still be grouped together, and go ahead and resize that. So when you're resizing it, you want to resize it so all of these lines line up perfectly at the bottom and the sides. So just a hair bigger here. And that's how you'll know that the size is ready and this design is ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and undo everything I just did because I'm going to cut this the full size. That's what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, before we cut this, just one more thing that I want to show you. Go ahead and click on this. I have no idea if this is a new change coming, but I'm missing a lot of features here, so I'm just going to use my right mouse click, and we're going to ungroup these. So these are all individual, as you see, so they're not going to cut together. I did that so you can change colors, or so you can choose which ones you want to cut together. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the ones that I want to cut together. So this one's cutting by itself, but welcome to our home. I want all of these to cut together. So I'm going to right click and go ahead and attach those. And then this bottom layer, this is already attached together. It's already welded, so you can't really do anything. So all of this is going to cut together. All right, so this is ready to cut. So let's go ahead and make it and cut everything out. So there's a few ways that you can do this. You can either use all iron on vinyl, which is how I'm going to do it on one of the projects that I'm showing you. But you can also turn these into stencils. So on the second one, I'm actually going to turn this part into a stencil so you can kind of see the difference in using all iron on vinyl or painting it. But since I'm using iron on vinyl, I do need to mirror this one. If you're using stencils, you do not need to mirror that, just cut it regular. And this one I am using iron on vinyl as well, so let's just go ahead and mirror this one. So you want to start by weeding off all the extra vinyl that you don't need. And right now we're just starting with like the football field piece. You can weed the other ones, but I'm going to leave mine attached right now just because it's going to be a little while before we need them, and I have animals and I don't need animal hair getting stuck all to the stickiness. And once you weed all around it, don't forget to get this little circle and the 50 right there. Alright, so next grab your board, and if yours already has the holes on top, make sure those are facing up. And you want them centered as you place this down. So you are lining this up right with the middle, and the bottom pieces should all line up. Once that's in place, we're just going to place this down. We've got all the bottom pieces lining up. This side hangs off a little bit, but that's okay. We'll fold it in or cut it off at the end. And now you're just going to take like a marker or pen, and I'm just marking kind of in the middle of where that white is going to cover it up. Just a little mark on each side, kind of in the middle. And we can go ahead and remove this. We're just using this to mark where we're going to paint first. Alright, so using Scotch tape or painter's tape, I'm going to make a line, and I'm lining it up on the top of the line that I just drew on both sides. And that's how we're going to make sure it's nice and straight. And I'm just going to press that down really well and fold these sides down. So when this stands up, like from these little holes right here, you want to make sure that this is straight, that you don't have it kind of crooked before you start painting. And you can either like get a level or just eyeball it like I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm just gonna add paint to the bottom here. I'll turn this a little. I'm just painting the bottom, the color that I want it. This is the field, so if you want like a green field, you can paint this green. I'm going with the school colors for this one. So the field is getting painted black. And I'm just using an acrylic paint. Obviously I'm not doing anything fancy, I just squirted the paint right on here. So I didn't have to get like a cup or anything to pour it in. And this is covering really well. I was thinking I might have to do 2 to 3 coats, but I'm almost wondering if I might get away with 1, but I'll probably do 2. I like to have a good coat of paint on these. Alright, so I finished my 2 coats of paint and let it dry. I didn't do the back, I just do the front, but you can paint the back if you want as well. But I'm just going to remove the tape. And don't worry if this line is not perfect. This is going to be covered up by vinyl, so you really don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to add tape to the bottom here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because this intersection is covered by vinyl. Just go ahead and press that tape down. And guys, this paint that I'm using for all of these, it's just like a matte acrylic paint. I actually got these for Walmart. They're like 50 cents each, so super cheap. I'll also link to them if you don't have a Walmart near you, or if you just want to see them, I'll link to them in the comments. And it really doesn't matter that it's not an outdoor paint, just because I am going to be finishing this off with like a spray sealer, and that's just going to protect it, you know, for outside. So it doesn't matter so much if the paint is specifically an outdoor paint, but you're welcome to use like an outdoor paint if you want to. Alright, so I'm done painting this now, so we're just going to take the tape off. It's a little bit stuck. And although that's a perfectly clean line almost, except that little part, it doesn't really matter because this is going to be covered. But before we start adding the vinyl in here, I want to show you guys one other way to do this. So I have this other board that's painted orange, and I'm going to do this one a little differently. As you see, the whole thing is orange, but I just want to show you like 2 different ways. Actually, there's many different ways. I'll just kind of give you an example of a second way. So on this one, I've actually cut this out on stencil paper, and I'm just going to need to transfer this over. Alright, so I'm just adding my transfer paper, and I am a little bit short on my transfer paper. This was the end of this roll, but you know, I'm going to make it work, so I'm not that worried about running out and getting some more, but I'll definitely be placing some or getting some with my next Amazon order. So we're just going to transfer that over there. Okay, so these ones, because my little sheet's a little short, I'm just going to kind of easily press those down. They are going to hang off the edge a little bit, so it's not going to naturally press down. And if it comes up, you just kind of push it down, help it down. Shouldn't be too difficult to transfer over. Alright, so now this is facing the top, so like my holes are up here, and this is going to go on the bottom. But you are basically just lining all of the lines up. They should all line up, just kind of keep till they all line up to the bottom. I'm just going to press this down and just wrap that. And we're going to take this off. And we'll just flatten that. Now make sure you push this down really well because we're going to be painting over this. So we really want to keep the paint from seeping. Alright, so I'm just going to add some paint, squirt a little bit on, and we're just going to paint over this. And this vinyl that I'm using, it is a stencil vinyl. It goes on just like a permanent vinyl would, so you don't need to mirror it when you cut. If you have like a removable vinyl, you could use that as well if you don't have stencil vinyl. Any color works because we're going to be removing it. It's just going to give us these lines in the orange color. So I'm actually just going to paint 2 coats of this, letting it dry in between, and then we'll get to see how it looks. Alright, so now I'm ready to press this on, so I've just laid it down in place. To keep you from making the mistake that I just made, I'm adding new audio here, and I took out the other audio. So you're actually going to heat your heat press to 300 degrees and press this for 40 seconds. So I accidentally swapped that up, and I put my heat press on 400 degrees for 30 seconds. I definitely did not make it the 30 seconds though, because I noticed my mistake when I started seeing it smoking. Y'all, I've never seen that before, so if your heat press is smoking, you probably put it on the wrong temperature. But luckily for me, the vinyl actually held up, and I was able to continue with this project without having to start over. But that higher heat, it did kind of cause the vinyl to slide a little bit, so it left a little bit of an outline from like that glue under the vinyl. And my line also isn't perfectly straight, but I'm going to work with it. Alright, so now I'm just going to press the rest of this, kind of doing it in 2 sections. Again, we're doing 300 degrees for 40 seconds. And then I'm just going to move this paper over and go ahead and press the other side down. Okay, now I'm just going to let that cool before I remove it. Alright, so I'm jumping in here again with another edited audio to save you guys from seeing all of my frustration with this vinyl. So after I did the little 50 little field whatever down there, I actually ran out of white iron on vinyl. And so I ran to Walmart because it's just super close to my house and they didn't have the vinyl I typically get, so I tried a new vinyl I've never used before and it did not go well at all. Alright, so I thought that I was going to get that other vinyl to work, but I really could not. I got it to work down here enough, and I used a little bit of glue in some spots that wouldn't hold down. But what I did is I just overheated this part a lot and then peeled it off. And then I went to Michael's. I used to actually get the sizer vinyl from Walmart, but they didn't have it when I went this time, so that's why I decided to try something new. But I do not recommend using that Walmart HTV or something like that vinyl on wood, or it could be the paint. I don't know, I've never had issues with it sticking. So anyway, I've just lined this up here. And also the reason why I didn't have issues with the bottom part, well I had some, but that was my fault, was this was actually the sizer. I had ran out of that after I did this part, and that's why I ran to Walmart. The only reason it does kind of have this spillage here is when I first pressed the first side, I accidentally put it on 400, not 300, and I noticed when I saw the heat press smoking, so that was a sign that I did it too high, but it still stuck fine. It just kind of slid a little bit, and that's why the line's not even and why it kind of went over a little bit. But I usually do not have those issues with the sizer. It's pretty idiot proof, which is why I love it. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and, I want to put that down first. And now let's go ahead and heat this. I'm trying not to heat up over this part as much because I'm really not sure how well that's gonna go. And we're putting this on 300 degrees and for 40 seconds. Alright, so now I'm just gonna let this cool. I guess I should get a different parchment paper. The last vinyl kind of left these marks on there. Alright, so this is feeling cool now. So here's to hoping that I get better results. So let's just see how this goes. If I can get it going, there we go. Alright, so that did so much better. No issues there. It looks great. Alright, so next we have our little football. Which way do I want? I think I want it going that way. And we're just going to press this on. Just line that up perfectly in place. I'm gonna add, and also if you notice, it doesn't have all that red that seep through with this vinyl, and look at how easy it stuck. And I promise it's not an ad. I've just have never used a vinyl that gave me so much trouble as this one did. Okay, I did not have more parchment paper, so I'm stuck using this one that has stuff all over it. For this one, because I don't want to add more heat to this vinyl because I'm just not sure how it's going to do, I'm just going to use my mini. And I've got it on the lowest heat, and so I'm just going to press for maybe 5 to 10 seconds in each spot. And I'm going to admit I'm a little bit worried how this brown is going to work out because it's that other brand too. But I figure it has to work out better sticking to vinyl because, I mean, how could they sell it if it doesn't stick to anything? So I have high hopes for it with the vinyl, just not for wood and paint. All right, so this is cool now, so let's hope everything comes off all right. It is lifting up just a hair right here, but overall this is coming off all right. And maybe I didn't heat it long enough since I didn't have a timer, but I feel like that's gonna stay, especially when we add the clear coat. So before we add the bow, we're gonna go ahead and add the clear coat to this. So I'm just using like a clear acrylic spray, and I'm gonna do 3 coats of it. So you're just going back and forth really lightly, and then let it dry, and then do another coat, and then let it dry. And you can do as many coats as you like. I typically do 3. This helps weatherproof it, helps hold everything on, helps to keep it from fading. So if you're putting it outside, I definitely recommend doing this step. All right, so my other board is dry. So now comes the fun part where we get to remove the stencil vinyl. Oh, that worked so well. Like, it's really exciting when you just see a perfect clean line. I hope all the rest are like this. And so now we just gotta find all the pieces. It can be hard to get these started. I'm gonna get in here. If you have like the little weeding pick, that is really the best thing to use. I have no idea where mine went. It just like walked away, so I'm stuck trying to get it with a safety pin or my fingernails. And so all you're doing is removing these. Some of these stuck off on the end a little bit, which is good. Made it much easier to grab a hold of. But that stencil vinyl, you can see just how well it works. Those lines are super clean. And you can actually do the same thing with the stencil vinyl for like the welcome to our home. Like, you can just make a stencil, and what you would do is you would leave the outside of the paper, like the weeding, you would not weed the outside, you would just weed the words out. And then you could just paint them on if you prefer the whole sign to be painted. And now it's just time to press this one. And I should not have any issues with this. Let's hope. All right, so I'm just gonna start over here with this half, and we're just gonna let that go for 40 seconds. All right, so this one's cool to the touch. So let's go ahead and take this off. And guys, this is how vinyl should come off. Now, sometimes you may have to add a little more heat. Sometimes I've had to add a little more heat, but most of the time it should just come right off the first time. All right, this is cool now, so let's see how it did. Okay, that seemed to stick to that vinyl really well. Had no issues there. It's perfect. Alright guys, so I just walked my sign into a dark area. I was going to grab a trash bag to spray this over, and I realized that I actually grabbed my glow-in-the-dark vinyl for down here. It's white also, so I thought that it was just regular white vinyl for this bottom part, but now my sign is going to glow in the dark. And now it's time to make the ribbon. I've just got this big, I believe this is what, 2.5 inches thick. It's a wired ribbon. That's going to be the best to work with. You could probably do 2 inches thick too. It just depends on the look. So I'm just doing like a very basic bow. So basically it's going to have 4 little loops. So I'm starting with my first loop here, but I want to leave, so this is actually going to flip. I'm going to flip this. I want to have this like sticking out. So I kind of flip that so it'll stick out, but I have my little loop here. Okay. Now I'm just going to create another loop, just bringing it right in there. Kind of the whole time bunching it. You see kind of the bow effect as you bunch it. And now we're going to create like another one, and I'm just bunching it in here. Don't worry about how messy it looks right now. It will look better. And I'm not a good bow maker. You do not have to be a professional bow maker to make this bow. So now I'm just getting another loop right here. Smooth that out. So this is going to be like my left side, so I do want to make sure that it kind of points to the left when I tie all these together. And this looks messy, I know, but we're going to clean it up. So right now I'm just trying to kind of find the middle. Not the ribbon, the wire. So I'm just going to wrap this around. Just making it, this time I'm just wrapping instead of looping. It seems to be making it tighter this way. So that's all I'm doing, is wrapping this around. Now I'm going to cut that at the same length. Now we're going to make the bow look pretty. We're going to unwrinkle it, stretch it out. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue this to the board, and then we'll make it kind of how we want it to look. And I'm gluing this to the top here, top middle. And these are just a little big the way they cover this, so I'm actually going to kind of fold them up, kind of let them give a little 3D-ness to the bow, and just put a little glue in like the corners just to hold it in place, because you know I don't want all my words covered. I'm going to do the same thing here. And then we're just going to fluff these. Add some glue here because I kind of want it to lean more forward. Feels like it's leaning back, so I'm trying to glue it to let it face, maybe even add a little under the base. Okay, I definitely like that better, so it's not like leaning the opposite way. So it's a very simple bow, and this can kind of be, I'm going to fold it a little more like this. But it turns out to look really, really cute. I like that football design, super cute. Goes really well with the whole board. And so all that's left is to hang it right here. Probably should have done this before I put my bow on so it doesn't get smushed. Try not to smush it, we're just wrapping this around. And let me cut some of this off. And we're just going to bring it through the other hole, create a nice little hanger. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions on how to make this, just ask those in the comments and I'll answer them there. I'd love to know what colors you're making, so definitely leave a shout out for your favorite colors in the comments because these can be customized for your favorite team. And before you go, don't forget to give this video a like, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.